Hi there, folks. Welcome to today's LinkedIn Live session with ThinScale Technology on securing your remote workforce. Today, we're going to talk through the BYOD chapter. As many of our existing clients who are joining us today, and some of our prospects will know, we also have a corporate security product as well, which we'll be doing another session on, which actually is where Secure Remote Worker, interestingly enough, stem from. So we're going to talk about our product, Secure Remote Worker, today. My name is Lauren Taggart. I'm the Director of Sales and Marketing here in ThinScale Technology. And the man really of the hour, or half an hour, should I say, who's going to be talking us through and demoing the product is Giuseppe Stirpe, who's our Head of Support and Engineering here at ThinScale Technology.
Thanks, Laura. Hi, folks. Good afternoon, morning, or wherever you're connecting from. I'm Giuseppe. Everybody knows me as Pep. I've been ThinScale almost 8 years, and yeah, I will go through the Secure Remote Worker and the device portal briefly.
Super. So today what Pep is going to talk about, and we're going to keep it very high level, folks, is what I should say. We could spend 2 hours going through this, and the way that Pep and I both at times talk, we could probably spend 3 hours with the best of times. So what Pep is going to go through is our end user experience. So what actual users, employees experience when they use our Secure Remote Worker technology. Then he's going to flip into how everything's managed in our device portal through the admin experience. And then he is also going to move on to talk about our device and policy setting overview, and then we'll break up for Q&A towards the end. But what I should say, folks, is like, don't be shy, ask questions as we go through if something sparks interest, and we'll do our best to answer as many questions as we can. Right, Pep, I'll hand over to you then. The floor is yours.
Thank you very much. I wanted to start this conversation as welcome to the Pep Talk. Don't know if I breaking some copyright infringements by saying that, but I'm assuming, folks, you can see my screen. So let's start by saying this is a virtual machine that I usually use for troubleshooting or debugging or demo. I hope you can see it, but it's a standard regular Windows 10, and the Secure Remote Worker software is installed on top of it. You can see I have a live demo workspace, purely branded, purely I created just for the purpose of this demo. But our Secure Remote Worker installed on a Windows operating system, and then we leverage the operating system itself to apply certain security policy. The way we do things is, I'll say, especially targeting bring your own device, 95-97% of the time, the user on the personal PC is a local administrator. So in order to protect what we call as our secure shell, we log the local administrator out of its own or her own session, and then we log back in with our Secure Remote Worker user account, which is a local user account and removed with all the admin privilege. And then within the UI, we can perform certain tasks. So what I'll do, I will click my live demo workspace icon, and the icon can be customized. You can brand it with your own company logo. You can rename it the way you want. At this point in time, the Secure Remote Worker agent is performing contextual checks. It could be hardware-based. It could be internet-based in terms of download and upload speed. But in this case, I have 4 simple ones. 2 are passing and 2 are erroring. You can see that my CPU count and my RAM meets my minimal requirement, where my virtual machine and the Windows license check are failing. Reason being, again, from a demo point of view, I installed the Secure Remote Worker on a virtual machine. I'm stopping the Secure Remote Worker from initiating if it's installed on a virtual machine, and also I'm checking if my Windows is fully licensed. Those 2 checks are failing, hence you get the warning message. As an administrator, and I will show you in the next 5-10 minutes the device portal, you can allow or deny the continuation of the, say, mode initialization of the Secure Remote Worker. If you have all your checks as passed, you will be allowed to run the Secure Remote Worker. If some of them are failing, you can either fix them, or the TDA or the Secure Remote Worker will simply shut down.
Yeah.
If I click continue, and sorry, I should have said, please interrupt me at any point. If I'm like a lawyer, I like talking, I like demoing, so we'll go on and on and on without even breathing. But I know Lauren will stop me if there is any questions.
What I should say, Pep, as well, and you may have mentioned it, there are a ton of contextual checks that we can do. That's a very minimal amount that you've shown there. And if there's not something that we've thought on, there's actually ways around that, and from a scripting perspective, so that we can get the check that you absolutely want for your employees as well.
Absolutely. Obviously, guys, back to Lauren's point, we are here for half an hour. We can be here for 3 hours, and I will show you all the 25 or 30 contextual checks that we can do. But again, we need to keep it briefly. So at this moment in time, you can see that obviously my local administrator account has been logged off, and we are performing additional checks. It could be a security check, could be scripting, could be everything related for our secure shell to behave based on the configuration we are receiving from the device portal. The UI you will see in a couple seconds can be customized in any shape or form in terms of button that you see, local application that are displayed in the what we call the ThinScale desktop website that you can click. But again, this one is purely a default UI demo-ready session from a secure remote worker point of view. What I usually try to describe within the session is we have 3 different components. We have what we call the ribbon bar, where you can hide, modify, move buttons around based on, again, user experience or based on administrator choice. We have the main ThinScale desktop, and we have the ThinScale kiosk bar, which is essentially mirroring the Windows kiosk bar. Reason we do this is once you are in the secure session, there is no way home user, office user, hybrid user can access not an authorized application or website. When I say not authorized, this one is, think about this, we use a blacklist approach. So only trusted, or what an administrator deems trust, application or website can be accessed within the secure remote worker environment. You can try and break it. You can try and launch it. You can try running scripting. You can try do any Windows shortcut key. Nothing will be available unless the administrator will allow you to use X, Y, or Z. You can see here from the screen, I have 4 applications and 2 example apps. They're fully functional apps. I can open the Explorer. I can launch Notepad. Fortinet auto-launched for me in case you need a VPN. You can see I have an Horizon shortcut in case you need to leverage any VDI. Just to clarify, we don't support only Horizon. We support Citrix, we support AWS Workspace, we support Cross Parallel, we support AVD. But as soon as I click on the command prompt, you will see there is an access denied. Some of you guys will think, why would I allow command prompt to be displayed in the desktop in the first place? It's purely for demo purpose. The reason I wanted to show you this is you might know what a user perhaps want to launch. Could be registry key, could be task manager, could be command prompt. We don't know what perhaps a bad actor will want to launch. What we do in the secure session, and I love using this analogy, is we create this secure cage. ThinScale software have the key to enter this cage. Everything else will be denied or blocked at the execution. So if you think about this, for GDPR, you can say we cannot control, we cannot monitor what a user, especially remotely, will do or will download or will launch on a personal session. What we do know is we can control the secure shell. I don't want to mention the big R, as in the ransomware, the big M, as in the malware. Realistically, in the regular session, a user could have a keylogger, a malware, a ransomware installed on their PC. As soon as the user switches to the secure shell, I'll call it that guy, that guy will not be able to launch, execute, or perform any task purely because, again, our cage will stop its execution from the get-go. I can go on and on. I can go deeper and deeper on this one, guys. But overview, think about this. Administrator will create a sort of approved list of application you can launch and you can see within the desktop. Everything else will be blocked execution. This one does not only apply on processes, also applies on registry. We have very huge granularity on volume access, registry access, service access. I can go deep, very granular in the profile and allow perhaps VMware to only talk with the Explorer. I can only allow VMware and only access HKLM/software/VMware registry key. I can go very, very deep in the security and the granularity on an application or service or a file. Same is applied. And again, I don't know if there is a question. I can't see the chat, guys, but what about browser? We do have an enterprise secure browser, which can be locked down as well. You can see I can browse my ThinScale webpage. Of course, I need to allow my webpage for demo. But if I go to Facebook, it should be blocked. You go to LinkedIn, you go to Instagram, you go to Netflix, everything is blocked. Again, part of this whitelist approach, you have 3 Ethernet page, your CRM, your customer relationship, software, website. You only allow those 2 or 3 browsers, everything else will be blocked. To finish off, in terms of UI and experience, you can hide every single button that you see in the UI. You can hide, or you can modify. You can perhaps have only 1 button and remove everything else. Everything can be customized based on your own likes. You can have your own branding. You can change the theme of the secure remote worker. You can do a lot. Again, guys, I have to be brief on the UI and the experience, but there is a lot more you're not seeing from this demo.
Yeah, I think a really important question that we are asked, I would say, nearly on a daily basis, Pep, when we're doing demos that came into the chat is, could the remote worker software copy text or record screens from ThinScale environment into their machine?
Very good questions. No. So there is a distinct segregation of what we call personas. You have your working persona, which is the secure shell, and you have your personal persona. You can save a file somewhere. As soon as the secure remote worker logs out, that file is gone for 2 reasons. We have what we call the dual persona disk, which is an encrypted disk, which is BitLocker protected on demand or every time secure remote worker is launched. And number 2, because again, the administrator is in control of security policy, they cannot see the C drive. So they only can access the drive the administrator give them access to. The S drive, again, back to the conversation, this guy is BitLocker protected, encrypted. It's only accessible within the secure shell. If I log out to my session, which I will do now, because obviously the UI experience is pretty much finished, you will not see, or you will not have access to the S drive. The S drive is mounted on demand when you log out from your personal session and you get into the secure session. A great question. Thank you, Laura.
Absolutely. I think you and I both emphasize a lot of people see us as BYOD security, and of course we do. You and I both know we do so much more than that with corporate machines as well. But the emphasis always, I say, is that we're a security company, and I think a lot of people kind of question that. But when you look at all these different pieces, including just your answer there, one thing that we're often also asked, which I think is quite important for our listeners today to know, because one thing that does differentiate us against our competitors, that is a question that I'm often asked, is, well, in today's world, most people have at least 2 screens, if not 3. I think you may have 4, Pep, if I remember in your office. So what happens if they have a couple of screens? Can they open up their own Windows environment, another screen? Can they, take screenshots, put them there? Can they, type over credit card information? What happens there? Because that's the downfall, I think, with a lot of other technologies in the space.
Yeah, no, the straight answer is no. Essentially, think about what you see is what you are allowed to access. You can have 4 screens, 3 screens, 4, 7 screens. You are only allowed to perform tasks that your administrator is giving you access to. I have Notepad, right?
Yeah.
Unless I have a super great memory, I will remember a credit card number, I can type it, but there is no way I can save it.
Yeah.
Well, I can save it in my encrypted drive, but there is no way I can access that file outside the secure shell. That file is hidden, is protected, is password protected, is BitLocker password protected. Yeah. There is no way a normal user outside the secure shell will ever have access. But back to the multi-screens, again, if you have 4 screens, you will see 4 secure shell screens. Yeah. The only thing you will see on screen number 2 and 3 is the secure remote worker background, nothing else. Yeah. You will not be able to type a Windows R, which will open a run program, or the Explorer, or the registry key, or whatever. Everything will be locked down.
Super. Cool. I think
just to finish off, because I'm running off of time here. Once, obviously, it's 5 o'clock, you finish your work, you log off from the secure shell, you are going back to your normal administrator or local user or not secure local account. So I will log in back. Oh, assuming I know my password. This I'm stressed about this live session now, guys. I'm back to my own personal session. So I can open Facebook and watch Netflix. I can play. I can do everything that I wanted before I launched the secure remote worker. I know it was brief, and then perhaps I was a little bit rushed, but there is so much I wanted to show you guys that had to be done this way. I wish we had 1 hour, but Lauren says, no, I'll leave half an hour. So, okay.
But for anybody that is interested in seeing some more, just feel free. We'll put in the contact details after this as well. It's no issue for us to deep dive on anything. But I think in another area where we could spend a lot of time too, Peppa, maybe we'll move on to what the admins see, and maybe let's just skim over the many things and just focus on a couple of things to show users.
Again, folks, I'm assuming you can see my screen. So this one is the new V8 device portal, which was released a couple months ago. Correct me if I'm not wrong. I don't know the exact month, but so this one is leveraging the Azure infrastructure. We have Kubernetes, we have containers, we have CDN, we have different, obviously, the Azure stack technology used to deliver. I just saw the question and I stopped, guys. Sorry.
Well, we can stop and maybe answer this, Pep, just before we move on. So the users came in and asked us, Giuseppe, is this solution fast enough for IT developers to work on a remote server?
I just want to clarify with the user asking the question. When you say remote server, you're thinking about the device portal or the secure remote worker piece? Because if the secure remote worker is connecting to our cloud, you don't have to think about performances. We can scale up and down in terms of consumptions. Yeah. We have obviously visibility of the CPU utilization, of the memory utilization. If think about Black Friday, you have to spin up because you might have 5,000 people trying to buy your product. We can do that on demand based on the load we will see from the back end. So easy answer is yes. If it's not fast enough at the moment, it will be fast enough because we consider the load that we spin up more resources for you guys automatically.
Yeah. The joys of cloud technology, huh?
The joys, yeah. So this one is purely an overview of every location where my machines are coming from or where they are installed. You can see I have a lot of engineers in the States. I have a few machines in Brazil. I have a few machines in India. And this is purely because I have virtual machines in Azure, different regions, just to show you where we can obviously showcase the location of those machines. purpose of this demo, obviously, I have my live demo machines here. You will have information about the device itself in terms of hardware specs, Windows OS, RAM, CPU. Guys, I will skip or we'll go very fast on the option again. I wish I had more time, but think about the organization is where you set your permissions for your user connecting to the device portal. So I'm going to use myself and Lauren as an example. I'm a super admin. I will be able to see everything within the device portal. I can create within the organization, I can create a user for Lauren, and Lauren will only have access back to the dashboard conversation. Let's say Lauren is managing the LOBs in North America. I can give Lauren access only to the North American LOBs. So there is a segregation of permissions and views even within the device portal itself.
Yeah. Beautiful.
Perhaps you have different level of support. You have level 1, level 2, level 3. Level 1 will only have access to the profiles. Level 2 will have only access to the authentication provider. Level 3 will have access to everything, or whichever level you want, because sometimes I have different conversation where level 1 is the lowest and level 3 is the highest, where sometimes it's the other way around. So you can have different view on the portal itself. Device groups, every time I do demos, outside LinkedIn, obviously with clients, I explain the device group has a way of, Active Directory does. You have an organizational unit and then you apply policy or GP on that organizational unit. The device group is essentially the same. You have a repo or a folder, in this case, my live demo. The device lives within the live demo folder and then you apply policy on the device group itself. When I say policy is all the beauty that you've seen within the secure remote worker. Security policy, local application, website, local application restriction, our process security engine, URL-based filtering for our browser. So you can say all allow X and block Y. So everything is managed within the configuration session. And guys, I will stop saying this. We can go very deep in every single option, but think about this. General is general configuration of the secure remote worker, session, idle, timeout, log off, scripting. UI is everything related to the UI, so local application, shortcuts, browser, background, JustBar, systray. Security profile is what I used to allow VMware and to block CMD, for instance. I can spend 3 hours just on the security profile itself, so I don't think we want to go deep there. MDM is mobile. When I say not mobile per se, is device management, firewalls, custom port, custom programs. Software packages. This one will be good for you guys, especially from a remote or a hybrid scenario. Sure. The first question you will see, say, I have a user in the States. My office is in Dublin. How do I manage that machine? How do I install whatever of an application that it requires for a new LOB? We can do this. I don't want to mention competitor, and I don't want to mention obviously other tools that do the same. One of every second day is, can I remove a specific application from the stack? Because obviously as a cost, as a license associated with it, I want to save money. The machine is not domain joined. I cannot install something remotely. You can deliver every application as long as it works on a Windows operating system via the device portal. You need to package the way the ThinScale device portal understands it. You cannot simply, upload an MSI and expect that to or an executable to work. But if you package it, we have an extensive KB articles on our website. So as long as you package the way the device portal and the secure remote worker understands it, you can deploy anything you want within the device portal. And the beauty again of the Azure is, if your server is in the States and you have user in the Philippines, your user are not going and traverse the internet going to the server in the States. They will utilize the CDNs closer to their location to deliver the package. So latency is reduced. obviously, guys, if the home user has a broadband which is 2 megabytes, you're still gonna have, I don't say issue, but you're still gonna have obviously a local, an ISP dependency of the speed that the user can download the package. But because of our cloud infrastructure, it goes directly or closer to the CDN from the user location. So you shouldn't see any issue and say, oh, my package is 200 megabytes, it will take 2 hours. It might take 1 hour, but it's not your issue or a device portal issue. It's purely because the local machine has the internet, it's slow.
Yeah.
I can go on and on, guys, but from a report point of view, again, because I'm remote, I want to see what Lauren is doing on her machine. There is an extensive audit report, so I can see Lauren accessed, I don't know, Google Chrome. I'm blocking Spotify because Lauren has Spotify installed on her own machine, and I don't allow Lauren to listen to music while she's working. You have an extensive audit report based on user, based on activities, and based on event type. So Pep modified a profile, Pep moved a folder, and you will have everything within a single entity. Great. I think I try to cover as much as possible. I don't see, you didn't say any question for me.
No,
so
but
I don't
feel
see,
free, guys, if you do have any questions, please put them in the chat. And we're more than happy to answer those. Anything else you want our listeners today to take away from this session, Pep? That you, in one line, if you can possibly reduce yourself to one line.
Install the Secure Remote Worker straight away. You will see the user interface experience exactly the same way I've seen it, or I've demoed with you guys. It's a single click installer. You can go through our website.
Yeah.
I was brave enough to install it with my eyes closed on a VM on my own PC. I know it's safe. I know it does what it says on the tin. Install it, play with it. If you need access to a tenant, I will be very happy to create a tenant for you, and you can play around with exactly the same infrastructure I'm playing with today.
Yeah.
It's very intuitive. It's very easy. It's very fast. Just play with it.
Yeah. So what we'll do is we'll pop in the chat here a link so that you can download the end user experience file so you can play around with it yourself. And we'll also pop in the chat an email contact as well if you've any further questions from today's session, or you'd like to have a little deep dive. Appreciate that we've had to skim over everything. There's so much more that we could talk about, but I don't think LinkedIn would allow us to go live for 6 hours at a time. What I would say as well, folks, is obviously thank you very much for attending today's session. But as I mentioned at the top of this call, Secure Remote Worker really stemmed from our original product called ThinKiosk, which is really our endpoint security for corporate machines. It also does thin client conversion as well. So we're going to do our next session on ThinKiosk. It's going to be on November 6th at the same time. Here on LinkedIn with Giuseppe and I. So we'll also pop in the chat the sign up for that page as well. And it'll be nice to go back to where it all began when Pep was here 8 years ago and I was here nearly 5 years ago. And that was kind of our baby and our starting point in ThinScale. So yeah, I encourage you all to sign up to that. And if there's no more questions, we'll leave it at that. And thank the folks for joining us today. And thank you, Pep, for taking the session.
Pleasure. Thank you, guys.
Thanks, guys. Take care.